Justice Anthony Kennedy, Tea Partier? Well, not quite, but quite a shocker in Washington today. And man, oh man, are we on it right now. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And did the Supreme Court so-called swing vote on health care just tip his hand on health care in what had to be a shock to the Obama administration? Justice Anthony Kennedy saying the government has, and I quote, a heavy burden of justification to show just where in the Constitution it authorizes Congress to change the relation of individuals to the government. In English, not so fast on this mandatory coverage thing. And to these two Tea Partiers, maybe from a justice, not so ambiguous on this mandatory coverage thing. With me now, from outside the Supreme Court, Jen Stefano and Anna Puig. Jen, to you first. Did Justice Kennedy just say this mandate's a mess?
Well, I think what Justice Kennedy said, he's going down the absolute right path. You don't just get the White House and the Congress one day and decide you're going to rearrange the relationship between the American people and their government. This has been 200 years plus in the making. You just don't one day decide because you think you're smarter and better than everyone else to change it. And I appreciate what Justice Kennedy and the other justices are talking about. This is the right way to move. Let's hope we take it all the way through, Neil, and totally shoot down this law.
Well, I've heard from a lot of lawyers who say never try to glean too much from the tea leaves in hearings. But, Anna, from what you heard of Justice Kennedy and others, by the way, not just conservative justices, but those who might be called liberal, on this key issue, what are you to make of that?
This is an unduly burdensome on the American people, Neil. You know, I chose this nation as my home. I came from a different country, just like so many in the United States. And we came here for the freedoms that this country provides. We didn't come here to live under a dictatorship where the government is intruding in our lives. And this is the biggest power grab in the history of the United States of America. And it needs to be found unconstitutional and then repealed.
Jen, we're going to take this up with a senator who has a different idea on this, a Republican, but I think what the administration was trying to argue through its lawyers today before the justices was that the reason why these costs are going up is because this mandatory coverage has not kicked in. Everyone pays in. These costs don't go up. Ipso facto, everyone will be pleased. How does the Tea Party feel about that?
Look, Neil, you and I both know they manipulated the budget so that when the Congressional Budget Office came out with their estimates, that it looked like ObamaCare was actually saving money. Well, that was a theoretical model, and you know about things in theory. Just like communism, everything sounds good in theory until you actually apply it. That ended up costing us trillions and trillions of dollars. The law hasn't even started. This is a burden on all Americans, but I'll tell you something. It is an absolute war on women. Women who run 30% of the businesses in America. Women who make 80% of the healthcare decisions. Women who run the households across this nation. You want the war on women? It's being done by the President of the United States. He's presiding over that war.
And I think what we're reading from the justice today, not all of them certainly, but those who certainly raised eyebrows, Justice Kennedy chief among them, is that whatever their fondness for the government doing what it has to do at certain times, in their opinion, this might not be one of those times. This might reach the level at which, for example, in addressing racism in the past, this does not get equated with that. If that is the case, this law is dead, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This law needs to be killed. And I think what's happening in America today, especially what we're fighting here with Obamacare, is just showing us what our mission truly is in 2012. We need to get Barack Obama out of the White House. We need to win the Senate back. And we need to bring conservative principles back to this country, because otherwise we're going to end up just like all the other nations throughout Europe, throughout Latin America, where there is no hope. And where do we go from here, Neil? There is no other place like the United States of America. And Barack Obama is killing American exceptionalism right under our noses.
I'll put you both down as doubtful on this health care law. But Jen, do you think that this could, if it does set the tea leaves for a Supreme Court that follows the sentiment of Americans in disapproving this, that the administration could use this to its advantage? Say, well, we tried. We were looking out for you. We were trying to provide something that would protect you. And those Tea Partiers like Jen and Anna stopped us and changed this. And in other words, it works to their advantage.
Look, I think the Obama administration is so desperate going into November of 2012 that they'd use their own grandmother and throw her under the bus in order to get elected. They blame the Tea Party for everything. Neil, I know where Jimmy Hoffa is. Give me a call. You know, I know where all the extraterrestrials are hiding out. It's really. Okay. I mean, the Tea Partiers were responsible for everything. Everything's our fault. You know what I find remarkable? That the President of the United States, who promised to heal the water and the ocean, he can't take responsibility for one blessed thing that's happening in the country. But he was going to heal us all? This is ridiculous. He can try and use this health care law, but as people see, and the Supreme Court's line of questioning is so beautiful because it goes back to what the Tea Party said all along. What does the United States Constitution do? It protects us as individuals, which people have fought for. It doesn't protect races, classes, gender, or groups of people. It protects individual and about the individual relationship to its government. Right. They're beholden to us.
And you,
not the other way around.
Where is Barack Obama right now? Shouldn't he be celebrating the 2-year anniversary of this atrocity? I think we should be wearing black instead of red today. We should be mourning what's happening to the United States, and we're going to turn this around, because if this is not found unconstitutional, we're going to be up a creek without a paddle in this nation.
I got a cake for him if he wants to come celebrate. Come on, Mr. President. Join us.
We're here.
I don't even think he's in America today, Neil.
No, he's not, and I doubt he'd want to spend much time with either of you. But ladies, thank you both very, very much.
Thank you.
Good to know where you're coming from. By the way, the Tea Party is well represented outside the Supreme Court today. Meanwhile, the White House arguing that insurance mandate, say what you will of it, will keep costs to taxpayers down. My next guest says try focusing on the costs that have already gone way up. Republican senator, but also a doctor. John Barrasso joins us right now. Senator, I guess they were arguing everyone pays this coverage. For this coverage, premiums can't help but go down. Premiums have been going up. They're arguing they're going up because not everyone's paying in. You're arguing they're going up because of the monstrosity to come.